you're watching is action. The kind of action that costs millions of dollars to film. But all the money in the world won't get it on the screen if one essential ingredient is missing: know-how. We're on location in northern Mexico, where filming is in progress on The Wagon, a Western starring John Wayne and Kirk Douglas, two of the all-time top action stars. Have you ever wondered what kind of know-how goes into staging spectacular action? Here's a behind-the-scenes look. The Wagon is a bank vault on wheels, a gold bullion carrier, armor-plated, protected by a Gatling gun and a small army. In the scene being rehearsed, John Wayne and Kirk Douglas have the leap from the speeding Wagon. It's a deadly stunt, unless you know exactly how to do it. The experts recommend the one thing that's almost impossible: keep completely relaxed. A picture like the Wagon calls for top-flight horsemanship. And the first problem in horsemanship is always getting on the horse, as demonstrated by Kirk Douglas. This is the crouper mount. It's an adult version of leapfrog. The reverse crouper mount is leapfrog with a twist. This is called the scissor mount because of the way the legs are used. The scissor mount has a number of versions. This is the standing hand scissor. The side scissor mount. But believe it or not, the most difficult mount of all is the mount that never makes it. This calls for real acrobatic skill. No, these men are not getting ready for the spring planting. They're preparing for an action scene. Breaking up the hard desert earth will make some actors' job just a little bit softer. Watch. The Wagon features John Wayne in a saloon brawl to end all saloon brawls. And that's really saying something, because Wayne practically wrote the book on this sort of action. Howard Keel starts things off by swinging at Wayne and connecting. When that happens, keep your eye on the way John Wayne lands on a table. What you'll be seeing is actually an acrobatic turn deliberately roughed up so it won't look too perfect. Now here's a scene where a character gets knocked out by a fighter the audience never even sees. But John Wayne, being the perfectionist he is, insists on throwing that anonymous punch himself. To avoid serious injury, a punch calls for lots of experience and split-second timing on both sides. Watch closely. The head snaps back at precisely the same speed the fist is traveling. Sometimes action is improvised while the scene is being filmed. In a few seconds, a chair will break the mirror behind Kirk Douglas. Because you're watching behind the scenes, you'll see something theater audiences would never know. The man throwing that chair is John Wayne. Each of the men behind that piano has to know exactly where he's going if he wants to stay healthy. You'll see why in a minute. Only a real pro should ever try this. In a few moments, John Wayne will knock Howard Keel through a window. Even though real glass is not used, the substitute can cause serious cuts if you don't protect your face. And that's not easy to remember when you're flying through the air. But just because you're used to seeing actors take chances, don't get the idea there's no danger behind the cameras. This bridge has to be blown to bits during one of the chases in the War Wagon. Handling high explosives is the least healthy job around. And there's plenty of high explosives on this job. 16 boxes of dynamite, 100 sticks to the box, and 300 yards of cordite. The cameras get the protection of barricades. But the camera crews head for safety before the blast. The payoff for all this effort lasts just a few seconds on the screen. The excitement of a great action picture is really a tribute to the pros, the actors and crews with the showmanship and know-how necessary to create pictures like The War Wagon.